Okay, so it looks like whatever beef was going on between ASAP Rocky and Chris Brown is still going pretty strong, because Chris Brown just threw the mother of all shade at ASAP Rocky, clowning him for his ongoing legal battle and the fact that he might be going to prison for a long time. Chris and Rocky have had bad blood for a hot minute, and you'd think that Chris would suspend the beef with all that Rocky is going through, but instead he is taking cheap shots at Rocky. In case y'all missed it, Rocky's trial for the 2021 shooting of his former friend is officially underway, and since it's a public trial, we can follow it step by step, and it is not looking good for him. Multiple eyewitnesses have come forward to testify against him, and it looks like Chris is enjoying every single bit of it. So why is Chris bringing up this old beef, and is Rocky really going away for a long time? Now, everyone knows that Rihanna and Chris haven't exactly been on good terms since the 2009 incident where he put paws on Rihanna the night before the Grammy. Rocky, as the ever-supportive partner and baby daddy that he is, has held a grudge against Chris for this. In 2022, he even dropped a diss track against Chris titled DMB, or That's My B, where he rapped, "I don't beat my B, I need my B." However, a couple of years ago, Chiz started to challenge the narrative of how he put paws on Rihanna because he was violent and had anger issues. In an interview, Rihanna said, "I caught him in a lie, and he wouldn't tell the truth. I couldn't take that he kept lying to me, and he couldn't take that I wouldn't drop it. It escalated into him being violent towards me, and it was ugly. I was battered, I was bleeding, I was swollen in my face." For a long time, Chris just went with the whole narrative about how he lost it when Rihanna found out he was cheating. But as time passed, Chris started pushing back against that image, trying to change how the public saw him. He began dropping hints that there was more to his side of the story than people knew. A perfect example? His collab with Chloe Bailey on the track, How Does It Feel? When news of their partnership got out, Chloe got hit with serious backlash from fans who weren't happy about her working with Chris, especially considering his past. This made Chris so upset that he went on a rant, saying, "If y'all still hate me for a mistake I made as a 17-year-old, please kiss my whole entire ace. I'm effing 33. I'm so tired of y'all running with this narrative." Well, there are now reports that Chris flipped out that night because he found out that not only was she cheating on him, but she allegedly gave him an STI. According to Chris, the whole just friends story between Jay-Z and Rihanna was a total cover-up. He's claiming they both went to extreme lengths to shut down any rumors about a fling because, let's be real, if it got out, it would have been a PR nightmare. But wait, it gets even messier. Chris alleges that Jay-Z pressured him into playing the role of the villain, even though, according to Chris, Rihanna was actually the one at fault. Jay-Z supposedly needed to keep his involvement on the low because if it came out that Rihanna had been cheating on Chris, people would start connecting the dots, and those dots would lead straight to Jay-Z. And considering he was married to Beyonce, yeah, that would have been a major scandal he didn't want. Now, while it might seem like Chris is just trying to save face, especially with all the heat he's taken over the years for mistreating women, Jaguar Wright stepped up to back him up.
How long are you guys gonna hold on to Chris Brown and beating Rihanna? You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh, my.
Like, how did you know what I mean? Like people don't understand what happened that night, and that's because Jay-Z worked so fucking hard to change the narrative of that night.
And then there's the bombshell about Chris catching Rihanna in some seriously compromising situations at Clive Davis's party.
Jay-Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown. And that first night, when he had that outbreak and he busted into Clive Davis's house and said, "Where the f*** is this dirty bitch at?" I can't fault him for that. He had this is beautiful. Oh, wonderful. Chris Brown, she done ruined him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay-Z herpes.
Oh.
And it's unfair. Because now that's a part of his story. And Rihanna ain't innocent. Because she was in there giving that nigga a blowjob in the coat closet when Chris Brown came in. He said, "She always fucking sucking something."
But Jaguar wasn't done yet. She went on to accuse Jay-Z and his crew of setting Chris up as the fall guy, spreading fabricated stories in the media to deflect attention from their own involvement.
And then they sat there and Jay-Z and them get on the radio and they talk shit about that little fucking boy. And then they put together that whole fucking sham and then have him arrested on the red fucking carpet just to make sure America fucking hated him for fucking defending himself against that crazy I mean, she's sexy as shit, and she's pure whore and pure pussy, and she has all of my respect. when it comes to the whore game.
Ooh.
But you ruined Chris Brown's life, and you knew you ruined his life, and the only reason you did it was because your pimp Jay-Z told you to, so that he could cover up the fact that he started f***ing you at 14 when he was damn near 30 years old.
Yeah, this situation is a hot mess. ASAP Rocky hates Chris for putting paws on his woman. Chris thinks that he's being unfairly judged, and I think y'all can see where this is going. Both men have taken shots at each other over and over again in their music, so y'all better believe that Chris is really enjoying Rocky's legal predicament. Now, I guess we could say that Rihanna clearly has a type, because both Rocky and Chris have been in a lot of trouble with the law. And in ASAP Rocky's case, the situation seems to be pretty serious, considering that he is now facing up to 24 years in prison for shooting a friend. Well, former friend. In case y'all haven't been following the drama, Rihanna's baby daddy, ASAP Rocky, is facing assault charges over a 2021 incident where he allegedly pulled a weapon on one of his former friends. His current legal issues trace back to a wild situation in November 2021. The drama went down between Rocky and ASAP Relly, a former close associate from the ASAP mob crew. And yeah, that former part is a big deal because their friendship pretty much blew up that night. The exact reason for their fallout isn't entirely clear, but what's obvious is that things escalated fast. What started as a verbal altercation quickly turned physical, and just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, Rocky allegedly pulled out a gun. Shots were fired, multiple ones, and while Relly was lucky to avoid anything serious, he did get grazed by a bullet, suffering minor injuries. He made it out, but now Rocky's dealing with some major fallout from that heated moment. And here's where things get even messier. Relly's legal team is saying the drama didn't just blow up that night, it had been building for a while. They're claiming Rocky and Relly had some unresolved tension that finally came to a head during the incident. According to Relly's lawyers, Rocky allegedly orchestrated the whole thing, convincing Relly to meet him at a secluded spot under the pretense of talking things out. But instead of clearing the air, the meeting turned into a total mess, spiraling into chaos and violence. Relly's lawyers wrote, unbeknownst to Mr. Efron, ASAP Rocky was not just planning for a conversation and came armed with a semi-automatic. After arriving at the location, a conversation ensued whereby without provocation, warning, or any justification, ASAP Rocky produced the handgun and intentionally fired multiple shots at Mr. Efron. The claim of premeditation takes this whole case to a whole new level. If prosecutors can prove that Rocky deliberately set up the confrontation with Relly, it could seriously complicate his defense. What might have originally seemed like a heated, spur-of-the-moment argument could now be framed as a planned attack. And with alleged video evidence floating around, things aren't exactly looking great for Rocky. The situation hit its breaking point in April 2022 when the drama finally caught up with him. Rocky was arrested at LAX after months of investigation into the 2021 shooting. The timing was terrible. Law enforcement swooped in just as he and Rihanna were coming back to the US, adding even more public drama to an already messy situation. The couple had just wrapped up a peaceful vacation in Barbados, enjoying the sun before the birth of their first child, RZA. Rihanna, 8 months pregnant, was probably riding high on the excitement of becoming a mom, soaking in the joy of the moment. But as soon as they landed, that calm vibe shattered. As soon as their plane touched down, the police were waiting. Without delay, they arrested Rocky right on the tarmac, leaving Rihanna to process the madness unfolding before her. I can't even imagine what must have been going through her mind, pregnant, vulnerable, and completely blindsided. The LAPD released a statement about the situation, saying, the Los Angeles Police Department's Robbery Homicide Division detectives have made an arrest in connection with a shooting that occurred in the Hollywood area in November of 2021. On November 6, 2021, around 10:15 p.m., an argument between two acquaintances occurred in the area of Selma Avenue and Argyle Avenue in the Hollywood area. The argument escalated and resulted in the suspect firing a handgun at the victim. The victim sustained a minor injury from the incident and later sought his medical treatment. Following the shooting, the suspect and two additional males fled the area on foot. They continued. Detectives worked diligently to investigate and corroborate the reporting information which helped identify the suspects involved. The suspect has been identified as 33-year-old Rakeem Mayers, a Los Angeles resident also known as music artist Adele AP Rocky. Early this morning, LAPD officers arrested Mayers for assault with a deadly weapon, firearm, at the Los Angeles International Airport. This case will be presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration. After that shocking arrest at LAX, ASAP Rocky didn't stay behind bars for long. He quickly posted the $550,000 bail and was out within hours, back home and free for now. But while he managed to avoid jail time in the short run, that hefty bail was just the beginning of what's turning into an ongoing legal mess. By August 2022, the case officially went to court, and Rocky entered a not guilty plea. But since then, things have definitely not been smooth sailing. The updates have been coming fast, and they're painting a picture of a case that's far from straightforward. If things don't take a major turn, it's starting to look like Rocky could be facing some serious jail time in the future. One of the most interesting twists in this whole mess involves ASAP Rocky and his not-so-subtle attempt to settle the case. According to reports, Rocky was open to resolving things outside of court, but the price he had in mind raised some serious eyebrows. Word on the street is that Rocky wasn't just looking for compensation, he was hoping for a major payday. And who did he think would foot the bill? None other than Rocky's billionaire girlfriend, Rihanna. Apparently, Rocky figured that with Rihanna's massive fortune and her clear loyalty to Rocky, she'd step in and pay up to make the whole thing go away. But Rhi wasn't having it. She saw right through the attempt to shake them down and flat out refused to pay. Her stance was crystal clear. She wasn't about to be played into bailing Rocky out. According to Media Takeout, Rihanna wasn't about to lose that B next to her name, even if it means her baby's father, ASAP Rocky, is going to prison for the next decade. With settlement talks officially off the table, the trial is now underway, and things are about to get real. ASAP Rocky is gearing up for a major courtroom battle, and the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, he could be staring down some serious consequences, including a lengthy prison sentence. Before the trial even started, we had video evidence of Rocky pulling a gun on Rocky during the fight, and it looked really bad. While there's no clear video showing ASAP Rocky actually pulling the trigger, there is footage tied to the incident, and it's not doing him any favors. The judge ruled that the video could be used as evidence in the trial, which could really sway the jury's perspective. On top of that, ASAP Rocky is sticking to his guns, testifying that Rocky shot him, making it sound like a deliberate move, not an accident. Rocky's side is pushing the narrative that this wasn't some heated moment gone wrong, but a calculated act. With the video evidence and Rocky's testimony on the table, Rocky's got an uphill fight ahead of him. 2 serious charges of assault with a firearm are on the line, and things are looking pretty grim for him right now. Assault with a firearm isn't a light charge. If convicted, Rocky could be staring down 24 years behind bars, depending on how everything plays out. With the evidence stacking up and Rocky's testimony lining up against him, it's clear that Rocky and his legal team have a serious uphill battle. However, Rocky's lawyer seems to be pretty confident that he's going to beat the charges, and he released a statement saying, "We're ready to go. It's been a long time. It's been something that's waiting over Rocky's head and Rihanna and their families' heads for a while. We're anxious to get this thing underway and get this behind him." Although Rihanna isn't directly part of the case, her relationship with Rocky as the mother of his child has put her right in the mix. At a recent court session, the judge even asked about their marital status and how to refer to Rihanna throughout the proceedings. So even though she's not involved, her connection to Rocky is still front and center.
The defendant, or who his is it his girlfriend?
His wife.
How
It's his common law wife, Your Honor. They have 2 children together, so
all right. So I should characterize it as common law wife?
or just wife. It's fine. However you like, but yes, they're
No,
not. I mean, they're common law husband and wife
I'll call
living together.
her whatever you want me to call her. You want wife? Okay.
Sure.
Your Honor, I think if they're not legally married, we prefer that she not be referred to as his wife, and that she is just referred to as his significant other or mother of his children.
Are they legally married anywhere?
I don't know.
And on the subject of the trial, Rocky made a bold move that had everyone talking when he turned down a pretty juicy plea deal from the prosecution. According to reports, LA County prosecutors offered him a deal. If Rocky pled guilty to one of 2 felony charges, he'd serve 180 days in jail, and he'd get a 7-year suspended sentence with 3 years on probation. Given that a conviction could land him with up to 24 years behind bars, the prosecution's offer of a plea deal, just 180 days or about 6 months, seemed like an incredibly good deal, especially since he'd probably only serve around 3 months. Everyone thought he'd jump at the chance, especially with so much on the line, but instead, Rocky decided to pass on the plea and go for the trial, which is a major risk. He's essentially betting that the case will work in his favor, even though the odds seem pretty stacked against him. To make matters worse, Rocky's testimony painted a chilling picture, claiming that Rocky didn't just shoot him with the intention of injuring him, but with the intent to take his life. That's a whole new level of gravity to the case, and could seriously complicate Rocky's defense.
You pointed
at me. And then that's when Elijah was like in between, and he's like, I'll kill you right now, pussy, or like whatever, like just was, and then I'm right behind Elijah, and I'm saying, if you brought a gun, use it then. Like, if you brought a gun for a pussy. That's the words I was saying to him.
When you said he pointed it at you, where on your body was it pointing?
Like towards my stomach, like towards like my headish a little. Like everything was happening so fast. You know what I mean?
And from what you're describing, was it moving?
Yeah, it was moving. He had it up.
Okay, so he didn't just hold it at your stomach. It was kind of
no. He was looking for a spot to shoot.
Okay.
Like if Elijah wasn't there, I don't know what would happen.
And you said as he was pointing it at you, what did he say?
I'll kill you right now.
And was that in an angry tone?
He did. He was livid.
It's a high-stakes situation, and it's kind of confusing why Rocky is willing to take his chances rather than accept a deal that might seem too easy given the charges he's facing, and that he could possibly miss out on his children's childhoods, teenagehood, and a chunk of their adulthood if he gets the maximum sentence. Well, according to sources, Chris Brown is enjoying watching this because everyone always thought that he would be the one behind bars, not Rocky. There is a very high chance that Rocky is not going to get out of this without some jail time, and to Chris, this is karma at play. But while we wait to see how the trial will play out, I want to know how you guys feel about this. Drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.